And the New York Jets are flying high, still undefeated without Mr. Johnson.
We're doing it without you, Keyshawn!
The biggest shutout in Bengals history means Bruce gets the bullet. The high-spending Skins bounce back from Monday night misery. And how the mighty have fallen, the 49ers and the Cowboys disintegrate into disgraceful disarray. Yes, indeed. Welcome along. Straight out the opening titles.
Joe Avizano.
Beautiful moment indeed. Welcome along indeed to week 4, as I say there. And we've stuck it in there in the headlines. There's a brand spanking bit of news, only hours old. Bruce Coslett, good night and God bless.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a matter of time. He resigned, but he had to, really. His team's only scored 1 touchdown in 3 games this season. They were shut out back-to-back. And the only sad thing about it is that Bruce was on course to become the fastest coach ever to 100 losses, and now he won't make it.
Oh, he'll be distraught about failing out on that record then, won't he?
Yep. I mean, he could turn any team into a loser. He was good.
He's a talented man. More on that little situation a little bit later on, but first of all, let's deal with the top end of the market. You'll find that the Vikings are on their bye week this week, but there are plenty of other teams knocking about, or a few other teams, in fact, knocking about, that still haven't lost this season. Let's see what they're doing this week, and we'll start with the 2 100%ers.
In the battle of the unbeatens in Tampa, the fickle finger was pointing Keyshawn's way, but it was Jaquez Green who took Sean King's pass 55 yards to set up the game's opening TD. Aaron Glenn wouldn't have caught Keyshawn from behind, would he? The Bucs went up 10-3 on a great catch by Dave Moore, not by Keyshawn Johnson. And Tampa looked to be cruising. One hand, both feet. When Rondé Barber, not Keyshawn Johnson, picked off Turnpike Vinny and returned it 37 yards for a score, Tampa was up 17-6. Their Big D was in control, and the Bucs were cruising. But as they've done all season, the Jets, playing without Keyshawn Johnson, came alive in the final quarter. Vinny to Curtis Martin, 17-14, and then Mike Allstott fumbled after Rick Lyle hit him. Jets recover. And then some funny stuff. Curtis Martin on the halfback option. He launches a wounded duck, and Wayne Corbett makes the catch for the winning touchdown. And the man Keyshawn said was overrated proved that he is indeed the Jets' #1. And after Corbett's second game winner in as many weeks, would that make Keyshawn shut up?
You know, they got the heart to continue to fight back. You know, and they did a good job. I mean, what more are you going to say? They did a good job in terms of staying there as a team and fighting back and pulling it out.
We knew it was going to be war, so we was going to give them war, you know, and it was going to be a war until the last second ticked off that clock. Regardless, we are a team who's seen ourselves come back in adverse situations.
58 minutes of Dr. Jekyll, 2 minutes of Vinny Hyde. Corbett only had 2 catches, but that was twice as many as Keyshawn had. Allstott's fumbled 22 times in his career. The Redskins faced another do-or-die game against the undefeated Giants at the Meadowlands, and Brad Johnson came out slinging. 46 yards to James Thrash set up their first score. Very next play, 23 yards to Irving Fryer, 7-zip Skins. Then 48 yards to Albert Cannell to set up a field goal by Michael Como Esta Husted, and a 10-0 lead. Norv Turner's response to the Skins' woes was to fire the kicker and sign Husted. The Giants weren't watching the Cowboys' defense last week. 53 yards to Cannell. Tie the cement boots to the boys from exit 16W. Then Johnson, Jimmy Hoffa, the Giants, 21 yards to ageless Andre Reed, 16-0 Skins. Dreams of an all-Jersey Super Bowl were racing down the Jersey Turnpike, but Brad Johnson was happy with his team's performance, which is more than you can say for the Giants.
I enjoy playing the game, love playing it, and play with passion. But our team's working hard. We're fighting through some struggles on both sides of the ball. Just want to play a little bit more consistent.
The Skins held the Giants' combo of drizzle and overcast to half their weekly rushing total. That's all it took, 16-6. Redskins win. In Atlanta, the good news for the Falcons was they took an early lead when Jamal Anderson rushed in behind Bob Christian. There was more good news. The Rams came into the game averaging 506 yards. In offense, the Falcons held them to only 395. Notice I said only. Kurt Warner, 14 yards to Isaac Bruce. Then Kurt Warner, 80 yards to Torrey Holt. At this pace, Warner will throw for enough yards to stretch from London to New York, and Holt won't even get his feet wet. 17-10 Rams. It was 17-13 at the half, but as if it wasn't enough, Atlanta's fumble by Jamal Anderson. Keith Lyle picks it up. He goes 94 yards, and instead of 2017 Falcons up, it's 24-13 Rams in the lead. In the fourth quarter, Warner hit Holt again, 85 yards this time, and the game was essentially over. The bad news for St. Louis was they allowed the Falcons 335 yards offense. That's 50 better than the Rams have been allowing on average. But the good news was the Rams offense was averaging 39.7 points a game, and they actually scored 1.3 points more than that. Final score, 41-20. The Rams are currently averaging exactly 40 points a game. And you can see why. Torrey Holt, 3 catches, 189 yards, 2 TDs. Whew.
I think, whew, indeed. That sums it up nicely, doesn't it, really? The way to go. The air miles are being racked up by Warner, aren't they? It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And, you know, Atlanta was right in that game until the fumble. The bad news for St. Louis beyond that, Todd Collins, Lyle, and Todd Light all hurt during that game. They could have real problems with their defense next week.
Terrence Matthews said afterwards they could do with a little more professionalism. Now, they're not doing their top button up where they're wearing their ties.
I don't know what else they need. I mean, it's like watching basketball. You know, you put them on an artificial surface there and they just go.
But is there a thing about the fact that, you know, points are being scored against them? It seems to make them a better team almost.
What's going to happen is someone's going to come and shut the offense down, at least maybe for a half.
Yeah.
And that's going to create a problem for them.
Now, Washington needed to bounce back, didn't they? Brad Johnson was getting a hell of a kick in, apparently, the Washington press during the week.
It wasn't really Brad Johnson's fault. Quarterback controversy is usually the first way to go.
Yeah.
Norv Turner, the way he reacted to it was to cut Brett Conway and to sign Michael Husted as a new kicker. I mean, I don't know what the kickers had to do with it, but basically Dallas was playing that soft zone and Johnson kept taking stuff underneath, and this week they just came out and they went deep. I don't know why the Giants weren't playing more zone, unless Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, really has something to prove because Washington fired him a couple of years ago. But basically Washington's defense was the key to this game, I think, as well as that long passing game, because they played the way they should be playing every week.
Or is there a little element that the Giants perhaps aren't as good as the first 3
Well, that was
results?
always true,
yeah.
because they hadn't beaten anybody really good. But again, it's a weak division. You don't have to be real good to win that division.
You wouldn't say that about their fellow Giants Stadium
No, the Jets are in a tough division, and they're proving that they're for real, even though, I mean, it really was 58 minutes of mediocrity followed by 2 minutes of offensive explosion, and you just wonder why Tampa's defense let down like that. You'll hear a lot about Mike Allstott's fumbles. You know, he's played 67 games. He's fumbled 22 times. The amazing thing to me is that Tampa have lost 17 of the 22 fumbles, and that, to me, has to be bad luck rather than Mike Allstott being a butterfingers.
And Corbett did get a kick in verbally before and afterwards, but
he answered it,
when's
didn't he? Keyshawn going to shut up? I mean,
exactly.
What more does Corbett have to do? I mean, game winners in 2 straight games, you know, great catches in the last minute of a game. You know, Keyshawn, he better start delivering some of those catches if he wants to keep his yap.
That's the way to go. I think Corbett did the job. That's exactly the way to go about your business. Okie dokie, more action now, starting in the Mile High.
In Denver, Elvis Grbac was actually feeling lucky. Even though Ray Crockett's interception return put the Broncos up 12-7 at the half, bad calls had nullified 2 other Elvis pass interceptions. In the third quarter, rookie Mike Anderson went in from 16 yards out, and Denver were up 19-7. But Grbac hit Tony Gonzalez to bring the Chiefs within 5 points. Tony had a big day with 10 catches. And then with Gonzalez clearing out the middle, Grbac found Derek Alexander to give Kansas City a 1-point lead. And the Chiefs hung on to win when Marvcus Patton intercepted Gus Frerotte. Frerotte was playing for the injured Brian Griese. Patton's interception sealed a 1-point win for the Chiefs at Mile High. And it was a game of 2 Grbacs. Elvis better in the second half than the first. Mike Anderson fell short of becoming the first rookie in NFL history to have 100-yard games in each of his first 3 starts. He missed by 15 yards. The Eagles flew into New Orleans, but Jeff Blake flew into the end zone to put the Saints up 7-0. He never did that in Cincinnati. Chad Lewis tied the score with a nice grab of a pass from Donovan McNabb. McNabb looking better every week. Ricky Williams had 3 fumbles in the game. He fumbles this time, and Troy Vincent recovers for the Eagles. And that recovery set up Donovan McNabb to find Charles Johnson in the end zone. The Eagles go up 14-7. In the third quarter, Brian Mitchell swerves untouched straight up the middle, 72 yards on that punt return. That's all the Eagles needed. They win 21-7. Donovan McNabb threw for 222 yards. That's a career high for him. Ricky Williams gained 103 on the ground, but as I said, fumbled 3 times. The Browns took their first ever winning record to Oakland and took the lead on a Tim Couch pass to Darren Cheverini. But Tyrone Wheatley tied the game at 7. Bam, Marty Moore hardly moves, but Wheatley's second effort puts him over. Then Andre Rison celebrated copping a plea on his latest charges. I'm not kidding about that either, with a nifty third down catch to set up the second TD of the game. Scored again by Tyrone Wheatley. His run puts Oakland up 14-7. Zach Crockett gave Wheatley a break with the close-in stuff. He makes it 21-7. And then just before halftime, William Thomas picks off a Tim Couch pass. He takes it back 46 yards for the score. The Raiders go up 28-7 at the half. It finished 36-10. Oakland, they were just too strong for Cleveland. They got 100 yards put together from Wheatley and Napoleon Kaufman, and they sacked Couch 3 times, intercepted him twice. The Packers went to Arizona with a sputtering offense and a shaky defense, but you'd never know it. Ahman Green put them up 7-0. Then former Rhein Fire star Bill Schrader took a 55-yard toss from Brett Favre, and the Packers led 14-0. Nice catch, Bill. Jake Plummer found Todd McBride, but gee, he was the only guy open, coach. And McBride stepped out of bounds on the 3-yard line. Doesn't go in for the score, but it sets up the first of 5 Ryan Longwell field goals. Longwell, fresh from his first ever game winner last week, was all the offense that the Pack needed in the second half. Final 29-3. Green Bay had 455 yards offense. They haven't allowed a touchdown in the last 2 games. They haven't done that since 1936.
The olden days.
Yeah.
Brett
You were
Favre,
around then.
I remember it well, yeah. The Packers, that's good. I mean...
In Dallas, the Cowboys were coming off a big win over the Skins, but Charlie Garner put the Niners up 7-3. Then Jeff Garcia hit Terrell Owens for a 17-3 lead, and Owens decided he was just the man to stand in the Cowboy star. Troy Aikman was back at quarterback for Dallas, but it was Emmitt Smith who scored to bring the Cowboys back within 7, and then Emmitt showed Owens exactly whose star that was at midfield. Now, isn't there a penalty for stupid celebrations? Do you guys remember Jerry Rice? Jeff Garcia does, 67 yards, just like the old days, and the Niners were up by 14. And that felt so good, Garcia did it again. Rice is crispy once more, 34-10 Niners. And Jerry's not going to go anywhere with the ball. Charlie Garner gained 201 yards rushing on the day. This time he stopped at the 1-yard line. But that's okay, because watch what happens on Terrell Owens' second touchdown of the day. A nice fade from Garcia. Owens reaches midfield, and so does George Teague. Bam! Teague gets ejected, but a penalty earlier on might have stopped this confusing scene. George doesn't look happy, does he? Steve Mariucci was telling his players to enjoy the win while they can.
Like I told you guys earlier, I'm my own person. I bring my own physicalness, my own emotion to the game, and I can't let him, take away from my game.
I thought it was just a slap in our face, and I like some of the players that at the end there. I mean, you don't come in someone home and disrespect them right there in front of the home crowd, and I felt like he disrespected us in a mighty way.
Aikman was sacked 3 times, no concussions though, but he gave way to Clint Sterner late in the game. Go rest the head, Troy. Bring back Randall. At Soldier Field, Charlie Batch was back for visiting Detroit. He found Johnny Morton twice to put the Lions up 7-0 over the Bears in the first quarter. Batch to Morton, touchdown. Then Batch was at it again, hitting Jermaine Crowell as he's falling down. Watch the pass, Crowell takes it, quick turn, he's in, and it's 14-0, Lions in the lead. Cade McNown fumbles the football, then finds former Rhine Fire favorite Marcus Robinson for 56 yards, and the Bears are on the board. Chicago tied it up on McNown's 14-yard run, and he had to take some hits to do it. But James Stewart went up and just broke the elusive plane of the goal line. Lions win 21-14. The Bears had 401 yards of total offense, but 5 turnovers, including 3 fumbles, killed them. More rookie Travis Taylor put the Ravens up 10-0 over the hapless Bengals, and then Tremaine Mack demonstrated Bengal ball for the 2nd straight week. Ravens recover the fumble. It's coming, don't worry. These are the Bengals, remember. And then rookie runner Jamal Lewis racks up his inaugural NFL touchdown. The Ravens are up 17-0. Akili Smith went out injured. Scott Mitchell came in to replace him at quarterback. Bingo, new quarterback, same old story. Mitchell throws the interception to Rod Woodson. 1 of 4 Bengal turnovers on the day. Tony Banks to Shannon Sharp makes it 24-0. Then how many of you London Monarchs fans remember Obafemi Ayanbadeo? He scores to make it 31-0, the final 37-0, but Obafemi's score was the last straw for Bruce Coslett. He resigned. I don't know why. The Bengals did score in the first game of the season. They named defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau head coach. Who would you name their offensive coordinator? Neil O'Donnell went back to Three Rivers and greeted his old team with a 67-yard pass to former Bengal Carl Pickens. And Carl Pickens knows that nothing's better than being a former Bengal. Eddie George went in from 20 yards out, and it looked like another long day for the Steelers. Titans go up 7-0. But Jerome Bettis, who else, took off on a 23-yard run, and that put some life into Pittsburgh. And when they got down near the goal line, it was Cordell Stewart back to his old role as slash, and he runs in from the 1 to tie the game at 13. Bettis's touchdown run puts Pittsburgh up 20-16, and by now the Steelers had put Neil O'Donnell out of the game. But that brought Steve McNair back, and he hit rookie Aaron Kinney with a 19-yard touchdown. Titans up 23-20. This week, the Steelers managed to get the game-tying field goal attempt off, but Chris Brown's 50-yard try fell just short. Titans win by 3. Exactly how short was it, Jeff? That short. The Steelers intercepted Neil O'Donnell 3 times before putting him out of the game. Kent Graham might have had his best day as a Steeler quarterback, but Pittsburgh dropped to 0-3. In San Diego, John Kitna and rookie Darrell Jackson ran a carbon copy of their score against the Rams. They went for 68 yards, and Seattle led the Chargers 10-7. 4 field goals later, Willie Williams' 69-yard interception of Ryan Falling Leaf was all the offense that the Seahawks needed. And it was all the offense they were going to get. Again, John Kitna was less than convincing. Leaf went out with an injured wrist. Guess who came in? Jim Harbaugh, only he isn't Captain Comeback anymore. Miami are winning ugly, the Patriots are losing ugly, and that's the way this one turned out. Jay Fiedler's shoveling something here. Henry Thomas intercepts, but he only get a field goal out of that. Rob Conrad makes the saving tackle. The teams combined for fewer yards offense than Green Bay. Pats go up 3-0. And then Fiedler hits Bert Emanuel for 53 yards. And watch this, Bucs fans. Bert catches it. He never did that for Tampa. The Dolphins go up 7-3. New England seemed to end every game with the potential tying touchdown pass falling incomplete. Why change now? Pats lose 10-3. Wanstead's happy. The Dolphins have only allowed one touchdown all season. No one's done that since the Bears in 1937.
Yeah, winning ugly, losing ugly, and they built a car park in the middle of their field as well. What's all that about?
At the pace that he's throwing now, Jay Fiedler, by the end of the season, will have thrown for enough yards to go around Gilbert Brown's midsection twice.
It starts to look a little bit more colourful and interesting. Mike's got them.
And the Jets sitting pretty on the AFC East. Of course, Miami has only allowed one touchdown all season, and Buffalo only have that one loss as well. In the Central, Baltimore, Jacksonville, and Tennessee, all with one loss, and this one's going to go right down to the wire. Out west, Oakland have a one-game lead over Seattle, Denver, and Kansas City, but this one also looks like a balanced division apart from San Diego. And in the NFC, the Giants now are only a game up on Philadelphia and Washington. In the Central, Minnesota have a half-game lead over Tampa Bay and Detroit. And out west, St. Louis is already 2 games up on the Pack. Atlanta at 2-2. The rest of the boys have 1 win apiece. And individual performance leaders, guess who is the leading passer? Kurt Warner. Torrey Holt this week is the Rams receiver of the week. 3 catches for 189 yards. That's ridiculous. And